So hello and welcome to my live stream. Now, while I've gone live, I thought I'll just share this to a couple of local groups, my WhatsApp groups. So bear with me while I do this. Let me just share it. Bear with. I know this is probably not great to watch while I'm doing a bit of sharing, but perhaps you'll indulge me just for a minute while I do this. And if you've joined live, hello, welcome. Perhaps you could put in the comments and say hello. I decided to do this live stream because I did one about a month ago, and I really enjoyed it. It was off the cuff, wasn't planned like this one. And I thought that, well, my plans had changed this evening, so I thought I would do another one, as that the last one went so well. So do say hi. Hello, Jessica. Hello, how are you doing? And congratulations on your achievement. I saw that on your Facebook today. That's fantastic. Well done. Now, I just need to share this, so bear with me while I do that. Let me get the share link. And if you are watching this live, do say hi in the comments. And the whole purpose of this is if you have any questions for me, please put them in the comments and I will be happy to answer them on any issue, local, national, although I don't have a lot of knowledge on national stuff, but certainly on a Surrey-wide perspective. You know, you have a question, stick it in the comments there. I'll be happy to answer that for you. Right, right. I've got the link now, so let me share this in a couple of groups. Live now, if you want to say hi. I'll put that there. There we go. I'll do that in friendly green as well. Okay, and deep cut. Deep cuts. There we go. Stick that in there. Great. So let's switch back to the live feed. Gosh, got all these people watching live. Hello, thank you for joining me. I decided to do this really unplanned. My plans changed this evening, so I thought I would do a quick Facebook Live, and I did one of these about a month ago and it went really well. Completely unplanned, unscripted. So if you have any questions, please put them in the comments there and I'll happily answer them on any local issue, any county-wide issue. I'm happy to talk about national stuff, but I don't have a massive amount of knowledge about national matters, but I'm happy to give my opinions on things. Put your question in the comments there and I'll happily answer that. So hello, AJ, thanks for joining. Oh, AJ, it's been a while since I've been to your restaurant. I really do need to have a tandoori treats very soon. If you like Indian food and you're watching this live, I would definitely recommend Tandoori Treats on the A30. It's kind of in between Camberley and the Meadows. If you go into the Meadows on the left-hand side, and the food is amazing. And my favourite dish, without any shadow of a doubt, is the railway lamb curry. So if you like Indian food, check out Tandoori Treats on the A30. AJ, it's a long overdue visit. I will be visiting you very soon. Now, if you have any questions, stick them in the comments there and I'll get things going by saying what I've been up to for the last month or so. Now, if you follow this Facebook page and you subscribe to my email updates, you'll know that I've had a very busy 3 weeks at work. So one of my clients is the National Rifle Association. And every year they have the world's biggest shooting competition called the Imperial Meeting at the National Shooting Centre at Bisley. And I do well, I do the media coverage and provide social media content support services to the National Rifle Association. So yeah, I've been really busy there over the last 3 weeks. That ended last weekend. Yeah, so you'll notice that my Facebook page wasn't getting updated as much as it normally does. That might be a good thing to some people, or sending out as many email updates, and that is because I was just so busy at work. But it was a phenomenal event, and if you want to see my work and you're on Instagram, check out the NRA UK Instagram account or NRA UK on Facebook, and you can see my work there. So all the photography work, all the live streams, all the video content is my work. So yeah, by all means, go and check that out. It's a phenomenal event, but and really good fun, I should say. Really do enjoy it and really look forward to it every year. And I'm always sad when it's over, but hard work. It's long days, and that's why I didn't really have any time for anything else. So, but from a council point of view, I was still able to attend meetings and briefings, because now the council, and I think I'd like to think that I had a little bit of something to do with this. Obviously, COVID played a big part, but I'd also like to think that I played a little part in the adoption of a kind of new policy. It's not really an official policy yet, I don't think, at the council, but it is being done unofficially and probably will be official soon. And that is an online first attitude towards meetings. So they try to do all their meetings online unless there's an absolute requirement to hold it face to face. And at the moment, the law doesn't allow for councillors to vote on online meetings. So if there's any voting involved, then we have to do attend in person, unfortunately. But I'm hoping that the law will change on that very soon. But it's a new council terms. There's a lot of new councillors there. I'm a returning councillor, so I'm serving my second term at Surrey County Council. And there's a huge amount of induction involved. So there's a lot of induction meetings, and that is really briefing the new members and returning members to a degree on some of the new policies or the continuation of policies and the implementation of policies. And there's a lot of quite high level briefings on various things. So a lot of those, while I was at Bisley doing the media coverage for the NRA, I was able to attend a lot of those meetings by taking my laptop with me and just jumping in online. So that is one of the benefits of remote working, that you can really attend from anywhere. So yeah, so that's what I've been up to for the last month. Now, if you are watching live, please put some questions in the comments. Ask me anything you want, anything at all on local matters. You want my views on things. And when I say local, I mean from a Surrey-wide perspective, whether that's here in Surrey Heath or here in Mitchett, Frimley Green and Deepcut, which is the area I represent, or Surrey Heath-wide or Surrey County-wide. You know, I am a councillor at Surrey Heath Borough Council, and I am a councillor at Surrey County Council, and I'm prepared to answer any question you put to me. If I don't have the answer, I'll get the answer. So now, some of the issues that have been coming up and some of the things that I've been involved with recently, in particular, is antisocial behaviour involving young people. Now, I was actually made aware at the weekend, or just before last weekend, of another area of Frimley Green which is being impacted by antisocial behaviour involving young people. At first, I thought it was just the Frimley Green recreation ground, and perhaps to a lesser degree the green in Frimley Green. But actually, I found out since that there's another area of Frimley Green which is being quite adversely impacted in quite a prolific way, actually, by antisocial behaviour involving young people, and that is by the Tesco's Express in Frimley Green, if you know that, off Balmoral Drive. So that's an area that's suffering quite badly, and residents there, as residents around that live and surround the recreation ground in Frimley Green, have really come to the end of their tether. They have had enough of it. They've had enough of the noise, the screaming and shouting it all, you know, till the early hours. The litter that's been left, the drug use, the drug dealing that's been going on locally. And just, you know, the residents are just sick and tired of it, and they've been reporting it for this has been going on for a couple of years now, and they feel that nothing was being done. By the way, Frimley Green Recreation Ground is not the only area of Surrey Heath that is affected by this. There are a couple of other areas too, to similar or lesser degrees, that are impacted by it. In particular, the Old Dean, but also the London Road Recreation Ground apparently is also impacted by this. So councillors from across the borough have basically said to Surrey Heath, enough's enough. Something has to be done about this. We can't keep passing this off to the police, or the police passing it off to Surrey Heath. Something has to be done. Now, Alec James, who's the borough commander for Surrey Heath, has been very proactive in this over the last 12 months, I would say. He, you know, has allocated resources to Frimley Green Rec, and things get better for a short time, and then it just slips back into a problem again. And so now the council have, and the police, in partnership with the police, have got directly involved. And what they've done basically is they have said at Frimley Green Rec and some other areas as well, some other high profile areas, they're going to have a CCTV installed, which is great news, and that acts as a great deterrent. But also at Frimley Green Rec, they've now employed a security personnel to regularly patrol the recreation ground through the night as well. And I have to say that I visited on Saturday, and I was quite surprised actually that when I visited, because normally on a normal Saturday morning, directly after a Friday night of antisocial behaviour, the park would be covered in litter. There'd be drug paraphernalia everywhere, empty alcohol tins, and even right next to the bins, incredibly. And the place would just be a mess. But I turned up there on Saturday morning, and I couldn't even find one bit of litter. There was kids and families of all ages playing in the play area and enjoying the facilities. Yeah, there was no evidence whatsoever of any sort of antisocial behaviour happening, which is normally the case the night before. And I had a good look round. I even spoke to a few residents who were also pleasantly surprised. And then I spotted out the corner of my eye a guy in high vis and the little van that they drive around in. And it was the Amy contractor. No, not Amy. Was it Amy? Anyway, one of the contractors that look after the green spaces. And I had a chat to him, and I said, "Oh, what time did you get here this morning?" And he said, "Oh, I got here about 9:30, 10 o'clock. I said, "Okay, and what state was it in?" And he said, "Oh, no, there's no litter whatsoever. It was spotless. There was no problems at all." And he said that's because the security guard, he was surprised to see a security operative there the week before. So that security operative has been in place for about a week now, and is clearly having a positive impact, which is fantastic news, really fantastic news. But it has to keep going. You know, the council or the police can't take the foot off the pedal. They've got to stay on top of this issue. And I'm sure residents who surround the recreation ground and who use the recreation ground as well will be delighted at that news. So now on Friday night, I also attended an event called Meet the Beat. And that is an event, a joint event between the police community support officers for the area and the Neighbourhood Watch. And the local police officers invited to me to that event. They told me on, I think it was on Tuesday or Wednesday, that they were having the event and that they would like me to attend. So I attended that, and there was quite a lot of residents there, some of which were, I could say, very angry and quite stressed at the impact that antisocial behaviour is having on them. And that is all along the area by the Tesco's Express, the flats behind and adjacent to. Yeah, there were some of them who were really quite upset about what's been going on. And I'm not sure whether it's the same youths that are causing problems at the Rec. It sounds as though they might be different ones. But anyway, this is having a very negative impact on and making residents' lives miserable around that area. But I was very pleased to hear the police community support officers say that they are taking the matter very seriously. They're routinely patrolling that area. In fact, the neighbourhood police, the neighbourhood community support officer there, said that that is her dedicated area for the time being until she sorts this problem out. And I think residents that attended the meeting seemed satisfied that the police are going to get on top of this issue and are taking it very seriously. But it was a really good event, actually. And for me, it was a really good opportunity to talk to residents about some common issues and related to antisocial behaviour. Because one of the residents says, well, you know, what are you doing for young people to stop them from doing this, other than, you know, harassing them, I think was the word they used, to stopping them in the street when they're up to no good or whatever. Why don't you put youth clubs on for them, or that type of thing? And the fact of the matter is that the Frimley Green Youth Club wasn't being used, quite simply, wasn't being used. And I think that the type of young person that is involved in this antisocial behaviour and activity is not the kind of young person that is interested in youth clubs. And even if they were, a lot of the activity, as I'm sure residents who live around the recreation ground will confirm, a lot of this activity is happening very late at night, into the small hours. And the fact of the matter is, it doesn't matter how many youth clubs you provide or those facilities, you can't provide them 24/7 and through the night. So I don't actually accept that youth clubs would solve this problem. It might help a little bit, but I don't think it's going to solve it. And I think that the young people involved in this are not, you know, your 11, 12, 13, or even 14-year-olds. I think these are late teens. You know, these are your 16, 17, 18-year-olds. Some of them are even driving. You know, so I don't really accept that youth clubs is the answer, or putting those types of facilities on will solve this problem. I think that you know, some robust policing is the answer, frankly. Was good to see so many residents at the event, and it will be interesting to see what happens going forward. But I have said to the police officers they have my full support, and if funding is an issue to provide certain facilities or whatever, I'm even happy to source funding for those types of things if I can get my hands on it. If I can get my hands on the funding, I will make sure it's allocated. Another issue that came up was the street lights, and that one resident, some of the youths were congregating near their property and felt that turning the street lights back on would be an issue. And there happened to be a political activist, I won't say who, but there was a political activist at the event, and I think was trying to insinuate it's because the policy of turning the lights off was the reason why they're congregating there and all the rest of it. And the fact of the matter is, again, is that if the police support, from a crime and disorder point of view, turning back on of a street light outside a property, I will get that street light turned back on. but it has to have the police support. And if the police support that and feel that that would benefit and have a positive impact from a crime and disorder point of view, I'm happy to arrange for that street light to be put back on again. But I don't accept that turning the street lights off is the reason why this issue is happening, to be honest. So so that's that on the antisocial behaviour. Now, I have had a question, and if you are watching this live, please put in the comments if you have any questions, and I'll happily get those answered for you. So AJ says, do you see that VAT reduction continuing for hospitality businesses after September the 21st? Sorry, AJ, I'm not real. I can't really answer that. I really don't know. I think that's something that you would have to speak to Michael Gove about, our MP. But if you wanted to drop me an email, well, you can email Michael directly, or if you're more comfortable emailing me, drop me an email with that question and I'll make sure that Michael gives you an answer. But I'm pretty sure if you email him directly, he'll answer that himself. But I honestly don't know. I hope that there is still support for the hospitality sector going forward. I know what a hard time you guys have had. And you definitely deserve all the support that you can get. So yeah, I really do hope so. So if you are watching this live, please even just say hello. Put a comment in there and just say hello if you want. But anything at all, just put your questions in there. More than happy to get those answered for you. So now, typically at this time of year, there's a kind of unofficial recess at the council, certainly at the county council anyway. There's a lot less meeting activity going on, but that will start again in earnest in September. I'm in the process of planning actually a community engagement event through the Surrey Heath Local Committee, which is a committee I chair. The last meeting was cancelled because there wasn't really any substantive business, the next meeting is not till October. The next official meeting is not till October. So I thought I would have an online Q&A where all councillors, not just me or Conservative councillors, but councillors from across the political spectrum in Surrey Heath will be on the panel and answering questions from residents. So if you keep your eye out for that, and I'll announce the date soon. That is going to be happening very early in September. I got a thank you card today from a resident. That never happens, but I got a card from a resident just to say thank you for no particular reason, just to say thanks for everything that you do and all your updates and stuff. So I was really pleased to get that. So if you're watching this now or the recording afterwards and you're the one that sent me that card, you know who you are. Thank you very much. It's really nice. We don't do it for the thanks, but it's nice when it happens nonetheless. So thank you very much for that. I wanted to touch on a difficult subject, and that is honest local politics, right? Now, I'm not going to mention any names or parties or anything like that, but I think that if you're passing yourself off as a community activist, and hats off to you if you are a community activist and you are fighting to do something better, to get a better deal for the community. That's how I started in local politics, and hats off to you. But if you're doing it to seek election, you should say so, right? And I don't want to give away too much, but there's been some things going on some of the local Facebook groups recently where someone is passing himself off as a community activist. And there's nothing, like I say, there's nothing wrong in that. And there's nothing wrong in making it clear that the reason why you're doing it is because you're seeking election at the next borough elections. Be honest with residents. If that's why you're doing it, say so. But, don't pass yourself off as a community activist when actually what you're trying to do is get yourself elected. And I wish there were more people out there willing to put their head above the parapet and get elected, but be honest about it. Be honest about it, because residents will see straight through it. And that's exactly what's happened Residents have seen straight through it and have given that person a hard time on one of the local Facebook groups. You do need to be a bit more honest about what your intentions are. And that's all I wanted to say on that matter. No doubt, because I know they watch everything that I do. They'll be watching this and, going, oh, I don't know what you're talking about, blah, blah, blah. You know what I'm talking about. Sort yourselves out and be a little bit more honest about your activities. And finally, because I've not had any questions, which is unusual for this sort of thing. So if you've got a question, you need to ask it soon, because I'm going to end it otherwise. Robert Gray says, hello, Robert. Thank you. What's happening to the playing field and pavilion between the Officers' Mess and Deepcut Estate? This could be an asset to the community. So the playing field, so you're talking about the old cricket pitch. There's going to be some housing put there. That I do know. Also, there's going to be the sports hub, which the developer will be delivering and then handing over that to the council to take over. What sports facilities are going to be provided at this stage, I don't know. But there's going to be a new pavilion built. And in all that area there, so you're going to, like I say, you're going to have the sports hub, you're going to have some new housing, you're also going to have an old folks home, and you're going to have some allotments over there. So, that's what's going to be happening over there. But the old pavilion that's there, that won't be staying. But they are building a brand new state-of-the-art pavilion, and it's going to look pretty cool. So I hope that answers your question, Robert. But if you have any other questions about that, by all means, drop me an email. I'll put my email address in the comments. By all means, anytime, get in touch. I've just put it in the comments there. Now, Emily's saying, I'm setting up camp there when I get kicked out of my rented army house. Yeah, well, Emily, I hope you don't mind me saying, Emily, but she's one of the Deep Cut 50 families that I've been trying to help without a lot of success, to be honest, because we're dealing with the DIO or the MOD, and we all know what a shyster organisation that lot are, frankly. Quite embarrassing, really, that they're a public body supposed to be serving the citizens of this nation. To my mind, yeah, the Army do that, so do the Air Force, the Navy and the Royal Marines. But the MOD don't, I don't think. Not really. Certainly not if the Deep Cut 50 are anything to go by. So, Emily, really sorry about the way that you've been treated. And I hope that you find some security very soon. So what was the other thing I wanted to talk about? And that was consultations. So there's two major consultations. Well, one mega consultation going on at the moment. That is the local transport plan for Surrey County Council. It's a huge consultation. It's really important that as many residents as possible take part in that, because I think that some of the policies that are going to be adopted going forward, could have change actually the way people travel to and from work or to and from recreational activities, could change them quite significantly. And to my mind, actually, I think for the better in most cases, but there may be some things that some residents are not happy about. And it's really important that you have your say on that. So do take part in the local transport plan consultation. Details are on my Facebook page. If you don't subscribe to my email list, you can do that at deetchi.uk. I'll put that in the comments, deetchi.uk. If you subscribe there, I can send you details about all the consultations, in particular that one. There's another consultation which is to do with the 5-year priorities and policies of Surrey Heath Borough Council. That's on the Surrey Heath Borough Council website if you want to partake in that. And these consultations, like I say, are very important. There's no point in you saying, oh, no one told me about that, or why am I only finding out about this now, when it's too late to have your say. Now is the time to have your say. So make sure that you do participate in those consultations. Valerie says, why do residents feel officers don't listen to consultation comments? Valerie Wright is a counsellor for Bagshot. Hello, Valerie. I think I know the answer to that, Valerie. That's because, quite frankly, most consultations in the past have been going through the motions exercises, and actually the council have not really been interested in what residents think. They have to, by the consultations in a lot of cases are statutory requirements, and they have to do them. My view on that is, don't ask a question if you don't want to hear the answer. But I do actually believe that in respect of certainly the local transport plan consultation, they do want to hear the answers. They really do want to hear what residents have to say about that. So I hope that residents will participate. Now, I've come to the end of this now. I've come to the end of everything that I wanted to say. Unless you've got any questions, you've got about a minute. If you've got a question, now you need to ask it. Michael says, hang on a minute. Not sure if you'll be able to comment as it's a private property, but do you know why Potter's Pub has been closed for so long? I don't know, actually. I take it you're talking about the one in Mitchett, off Mitchett Lake Road, Potter Steakhouse. I mean, somebody else asked me this actually a few weeks ago, and I sent a WhatsApp message to Joanne Potter, who I know very well because she used to be the councillor for this area with me and Craig Fennell. And I asked her, I said, people are asking why it's closed, and she told me then that they were planning on opening it that weekend. So I don't know why it's still closed, if that's the case. Yeah, that's the one. I don't know why it's still closed. But if you want to drop me an email, I'll happily forward it on to Joanne, and she'll answer that for you. I'll put my email in the comments again. So it's paul@deitchy.uk. Drop me an email and I'll forward it to Joanne to answer for you. But maybe they're having problems getting staff. This staff issue, this, what's it called? The ping-demic, because people are getting pinged left, right and centre that they can't go to work. Maybe they're having that problem. I don't know. Maybe that's what the reason is. But yeah, drop me an email. I'll forward it to Joanne to get an answer for you, Michael. Now, if you've got any questions, you need to ask them now. Otherwise, I'm going to end this. Been going at it now for about half an hour, which is great. And I quite a few people watching live, which is fantastic. But if you've not got any other questions, I'm going to end it. Just wanted to say that I am going to have a couple of weeks off with the family in August, and so I'll probably go quiet for a couple of weeks. We're not going anywhere. We're not going away, but we'll be going off and doing a couple of day trips here and there. I just need to switch off, really, turn my phone off, turn my computer off, and not reply to any emails for a couple of weeks, and have a bit of a rest. Hopefully we're going to get some nice weather again soon. So if you do have anything that you need to speak to me about that's of an urgent nature, drop me a line at that email address, paul@deitchy.uk, and I will answer that for you. Denise asked a question earlier about Wharf Road, which I've missed. Oh, let me have a look at that. Sorry about that, Denise. Oh yeah. Let's have a look and see if I've missed any others as well. No. So let's read that out. Is there any update on the traffic monitor from Wharf Road? The traffic going up and down at the moment is mostly going well over 30 miles an hour. Oh, I know what you're talking about. You're talking about the speed survey. It is complete. The speed survey is complete, but I've not received any information about the data just yet. They're still analysing that, but I'll have a report about that very soon. Was it you that asked me to do that, Denise? Because I know there was a couple of residents along Wharf Road that asked me to have a speed survey done there. Were you one of them? But anyway, as soon as I know what the outcome of that is, I will let everybody know. So what else? Oh, Robert says, are there any plans to improve number 11 bus service? There are actually plans to improve all bus services. Actually, the local transport plan consultation that I mentioned earlier, there's a whole bit about public transport on there. They want to improve all bus services because they want to encourage people not to use their cars and either walk, cycle, or use public transport. And to my mind, you can't expect people to use public transport unless it's reliable, it's cheap, it's frequent, it runs at the evenings and weekends, and connects communities. So they need to address all those 5 things, really. And I believe that they are looking at improving all bus services, or even providing new bus services. So keep your eye out for that, Robert, and please make sure you take part in that consultation. It's really important, and make sure that you say that's what you want to see happen, is the number 11 bus service improved. So thanks for that. Yes, so I've answered that, Robert. Thank you. It wasn't me, but it definitely is needed, says Denise. Yeah, so as soon as I get the data back from the officers on that speed survey, I will let you know. Kevin says cycling won't improve unless roads get much better. I completely agree, Kevin. Completely agree. It is too dangerous at the moment, but I think that this consultation they're talking about, the local transport plan, addresses everything to do with transport. And people, when you say transport to people, they either think the car or the buses or trains or whatever. It actually also means walking or cycling. They call that active travel, and they've got to sort all those things out before people are encouraged to get out of their vehicles. So me included. But I would like nothing more than to give my car back to the lease company. But at the moment, it's just not viable to do that. But I do honestly believe that the county council are looking at ways of doing that, and that will involve stuff from the government too, not just the local authorities. And I think we saw an indication that some of that is coming our way with this highway code thing and prioritising pedestrians and cyclists over motorists. Don't know if you saw that in the news, Kevin, but yeah, that's something that that is something that needs to happen. I quite agree. So I think that's it now. Not got any more questions, so I'm going to end this live stream. Thank you very much for joining me. I'll do another one of these in about a month's time, I think, if I can find the time to do that. So thanks for joining if you've watched this live, and have a really good summer. Hoping the weather's going to get a little bit better soon. Apparently we're in for some heavy rain again tomorrow, or thunder and lightning or something. But then apparently the weather's going to start to get nicer again. So have a really good summer, and I'll look forward to seeing you soon. Thank you very much.